Hi blondies and welcome back to Happy Blonde. So my shirt is amazing, made in the 90s, obviously from the Disney parks. Absolutely love it. So, as all of you know, Walt Disney World is celebrating its 50th anniversary and the celebration has gone big. It's an 18-month celebration that I will hopefully witness next summer, and I decided to do a video about my own take in the 50 statues. As all of you know, Walt Disney World released the Fab 50 statues that they replaced all over the Disney parks, and they're supposed to represent 50 fabulous Disney characters that are just icons. And while some of them are actually icons, some of them I believe are not. So today, I have my trusty little phone, and I decided to make a list about all of those statues and see what I would change from that list and make an honorable mention. So let's get started. Pausing the video just to say, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram at happy.blonde.s. Have amazing pictures there. I do have a giveaway rolling, so enter that. It is going to be awesome, and it's obviously Disney merch. It's inspired in fall because autumn, fall, it's my favorite season of the year, so you don't want to miss that. Now we can start off the video. I believe that obviously the Sensational Six plus Chip and Dale need to stay. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Pluto, Goofy, Chip and Dale are icons. They are just figures, they are characters that have surpassed the limits of time and space, and everybody knows them. The person who knows least about Disney can at least recognize those characters. So I believe that those are our first 8 characters, I'm sorry. Tinkerbell is also an iconic character who should stay. She is even more iconic than Peter Pan, and it's Peter Pan's movie. Lady and the Tramp should actually stay as well, so we're already on to 11 characters that are staying. Lady and the Tramp is just iconic, even more so because Tony's restaurant is in Magic Kingdom, but also everybody knows the scene Bella Notte from the movie where they're both eating spaghetti. It's just timeless. These icons that I am reviewing and changing and telling, it's because I think that they are icons that have surpassed those limits of time and space as well. And obviously there are some icons that we will not add. Obviously the princesses are not in here because I believe that they wanted to make the statues life-size, or at least close to what they would be like if they were life-size. So that is why the icons of the princesses are not here, and I still represented them in some way, and I'm trying to stick to most 2 characters per movie to obviously give opportunity to so many more characters that are out there that are still iconic, because there's a lot of Disney films out there. And lastly, Stitch is also staying. Stitch is an icon. Everybody knows who Stitch is, and he is the popular one from his movie. Now, let's start talking about those icons that I will change. Again, some of them are staying, some are changing. The first change that I am making is that I am removing the Cheshire Cat and I am replacing him with Dopey. I believe that Snow White deserved representation into the Fab 50 statues. She was the first animated full-length feature back in 1937, and thanks to Snow White's hit, Walt Disney World is what it is today. The animated classics, it's what they are today thanks to how amazing that movie did. But we can't obviously add Snow White, so I was thinking either Grumpy or Dopey. I ended up going with Dopey, he's just the cutest, so I added him. Left Mad Hatter Lumiere is an icon, and left Dumbo. As you can see, I removed Cogsworth and I removed Timothy Mouse from Dumbo, because again, I'm trying to give space to everybody, and the only statue that would be a trio, I think that this statue would stay in Magic Kingdom. I honestly don't know. Oh, by the way, Dopey would stay in Magic Kingdom next to Mine Train. I believe that they should have sparsed the statues more throughout the parks. That's something that I was going to say, so that it would be a little bit harder to find them and maybe put them in certain areas that are just iconic to each and every one of them. So that's where I would put Dopey. The statues that I'm changing is that I am adding Murray, Berlioz, and Toulouse from the Aristocats. I believe that the little kitties deserve representation. You know, we have Lady and the Tramp, and the Aristocats is also a very iconic movie and branding, especially after they released the Cats and Dogs collection. I believe that a lot of people wanted the Aristocats merch even so much more, and they saw how many fans there are out there who love this movie. So these three little kittens deserve all the love they can get. I think that I would place them in Magic Kingdom. I still don't know where. Or they could also be placed in Epcot. Still don't know, but I'm debating. I left Jack and Gus Gus. They are a double, even though one is more iconic than the other. I do believe that Gus Gus is a little bit more iconic than Jack Jack, but still, they're almost there. I absolutely love the statue of them just holding the little 50s icon next to Cinderella's castle. It's just beautiful. I had to leave it. And I am changing Abu. Abu is not the icon for that movie. I do believe it's Genie. I would definitely put a statue of Genie next to the flying carpets in Agrabah. I think that that's exactly where it would go, and to not make him that life-size, I would just make him a little bit smaller, as if he was coming out of the lamp. Again, my personal opinion, Pooh and Piglet definitely have to stay, and Orange Bird stays. So I think that's the first for all the Magic Kingdom statues. And now let's move on to Epcot statues. Alright, so on Epcot we can easily find Miguel and Dante from Coco. But now I did leave Miguel, he is so cute. I did change Dante though, and I am not biased. I am just... let me explain. I removed Dante, and I removed Hey Hey, and I removed Pua. When I think of iconic characters, I think of characters that, you know, have surpassed time or have at least been very popular, and I don't think Moana was such a popular movie to give Pua and Hey Hey both a statue. And I also removed Rocket. Again, I don't think he is that iconic. I left Baby Groot just so that people don't come for me and say that I did not leave a Guardians character, like a superhero character. I left Baby Groot because he is the iconic one from that saga. But I changed up. I added Pascal. Again, not that I'm biased with Rapunzel. I am biased. But I think that Pascal is such an iconic sidekick, and Rapunzel is a very popular princess that Disney doesn't really give credit to. She has an entire series, and people love her, and trust me, as a party princess, I know kids love Rapunzel, it's not just me. So I think that Pascal would have been an amazing statue to have, and I would have changed it up to have him, obviously, in the Tangled bathrooms over at Magic Kingdom. I left Olaf and Bruni. They're just adorable, and Frozen is indeed iconic. Everybody knows those two. And I added Mushu. I feel like when you think about princess sidekicks, Mushu is the first one that comes to mind, and he is indeed the most iconic sidekick, like obviously taking Olaf to the side. Mushu is absolutely everything. He's comedic, he's got humor, he is literally there from beginning to end of the movie. He gives like Mulan's movie such a push. So it's why couldn't you add him, you know? I added him to the list, and I would obviously place him over at the China Pavilion. And lastly, I did leave Figment. I am not a big fan of Figment, but Figment is an icon over at the parks, especially in Epcot, so Figment definitely has to stay on this list. Moving on to Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios did not suffer that big of a change. I do have some other changes over at the bottom and some honorable mentions that I will go back to. Hollywood Studios, as much as I love her, because I do love her, she's my favorite Toy Story character, I did remove Bo Peep and changed her up for Buzz Lightyear. I do believe that Woody and Buzz are a very iconic duo, and I was actually expecting them to be together for the 50 statues, and it was so weird to see Bo instead of Buzz. And again, I love her and adore her, but I think Buzz deserves the credit. R2 and BB-8 definitely have to stay. Now, I did make the change to remove Edna Mode and Frozone. As much as I love both characters, and Edna is indeed just amazing, I believe that the iconic character from the Incredibles movies is indeed Jack Jack. So I added baby Jack Jack, and I think that I would definitely place him over at the street where the Incredibles are. I haven't gone there in the longest time ever, but I think Jack Jack would be an adorable figure to have, especially with his little cookie. That would just be so cute. And I left, obviously, Sebastian and Flounder because they are very, very iconic sidekicks for the princesses. And now to Animal Kingdom. The list kind of stayed as it is, but you'll see the add-ons in a minute. I left Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa. They're obviously iconic. Hakuna Matata, who doesn't? I left Bambi and Thumper. A lot of people say Thumper isn't iconic. He indeed is iconic. He is Bambi's best friend, and everybody knows who Thumper is. And I did leave Nemo and Dory. I do think that they are iconic. Now, I do have 4 add-ons and some honorable mentions that are characters that I wanted them to be in the list, like so bad, but maybe they're not as iconic, or they just couldn't be done due to the size. So let's get to those. I think that they should add to Epcot Remy from Ratatouille. It was the perfect opportunity to add him. I mean, with the new ride and the new restaurant and the new area, he would have been perfect over at the France Pavilion. Remy should have been added, and he's indeed a little icon. Everybody loves Remy. I was thinking of adding some more to Animal Kingdom because I was thinking about what characters are indeed iconic that can be done for Animal Kingdom, and even though I had other ideas in mind, I came to the conclusion that I would have added Baloo from the Jungle Book. I was debating whether to add Bagheera or Baloo, because I do love Bagheera, but I feel like Baloo, bare necessities, it just rings to mind. Again, I'm thinking of characters that when you think about them, you think Disney, you think a song, you think a memorable moment during an animated movie or at the parks. So I would have added Baloo, and finally, I would have added Pongo and Perdita from 101 Dalmatians. I believe that 101 Dalmatians is such an iconic Disney movie. I personally love the animation. I believe that the animation from 101 Dalmatians is one of the most beautiful pieces of art that I have ever seen in my life. And they are iconic. I know that we have like a cat trio and another dog duo, but you just had to. And with Cruella, again, Cruella was such an amazing movie, and she pushed forward the franchise and, you know, the 101 Dalmatians branding so much. Why wouldn't you add them? They're just adorable. I don't know where I would have put them though. Whether maybe Hollywood Studios, because I feel like Hollywood Studios needs a little bit of loving for the statues. But, you know, they just had to be added. And that is my list. Now, I will mention, obviously, some honorable mentions that deserve some mentioning. Again, I will explain why each and every one of these could not be fulfilled or could not be added. And leave me in the comment section down below, what do you think about, obviously, my list? Who would you take away? Who would you have added? Or another honorable mention that you can think of? The first honorable mention that I can think of is Lightning McQueen. I believe that the Cars franchise was so big, you know, when Cars came out, every little kid had a little Lightning McQueen or Mater toy, and I would have loved to see a statue of him, but like I mentioned before, if they're keeping them life-size, a live statue of Lightning McQueen could have been a little bit overboard, so I get why they didn't do it. I would have also added Sully and Mike Wazowski. I love Mike Wazowski, and I do believe that Monsters, Inc. is indeed iconic for Disney. Who doesn't know the beautiful pink door with the little flowers? And who doesn't know Mike and Sully? And my giveaway has a little Sully thing in there. So again, Instagram, check it out. But Mike and Sully are just indeed iconic. I don't know if they didn't add them because they didn't want to add that much on Pixar, or because, you know, the rights to the movies or stuff like that, but they could have been amazing. And that leads me to the next duo that I would have added, which was Wally and Eve. They are so cute. When Wally came out, everybody wanted a little Wally, and they've made a Wally before for like the Disney Plus series of Pixar in New York, Pixar's in the Street. It's just adorable. I would have added them. And another honorable mention that I would have wanted to add, not because they were iconic, and that was what stopped me with them, it's because their movie is iconic, is Turk and Tantor from Tarzan. Tarzan is one of the most iconic Disney movies that I have ever seen, and the soundtrack and everything is just so beautiful. But I feel like they could have added Turk and Tantor if they lived up to the expectations of what Tarzan is. Because when you think of Tarzan, you immediately think of him, and you probably think of Jane. But I don't think that them, or either Kala, who's his mom, could have lived up to the expectations of being a Fat 50 statue. And last but not least, and I'm gonna break your mind, I immediately thought of Up. Like the movie Up. And then I thought, who would I add from Up? And I thought, Doug, he's iconic, but maybe not so, and maybe Kevin, he's popular, but not, you know, that iconic. And I kept on thinking and kept on thinking, because Up is a movie that everybody knows. And then I got to the conclusion that everybody knows the movie Up, not because of the characters, but because of the house. And you know, we're talking about characters, not things. Like, the house is iconic. The characters, not everybody knows. So, that was my conclusion. I was also a little bit upset that I couldn't see the princesses, because again, I'm a very big princess person, but I think the sidekicks will do. Anywho, we have reached the end of this video. I do hope that you enjoyed my take on the Fat 50 Statues list. Again, leave me in the comment section down below. What do you think? Who would you have added? An honorable mention? Who would you have taken away? Do you agree with something I said? Do you not? I tried to keep representation as much as possible, you know, between the animated classics, princess representation, oh, there go my pups, Marvel, Star Wars, and all that jazz. Thank you all so much for sticking around. Happy Blonde signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one.